Hey everybody, welcome to Excel video 428. I'm Nate Moore. Worked with two different groups this week that said, hey Nate, we need data from our PM system and we need it out so we can send it to an outside vendor for collections, or another one wanted to combine it with clinical data from another source and compare PM data to clinical data. Both times they needed data that they couldn't get out of canned reports that they did need in a different custom way. When you need custom data instead of canned data, you know who to call. I want to show you another looping example today that doesn't involve looping through rows or columns. Well, you can certainly do that. We've done several videos looping a bunch of different ways. Today what I want to do is say, I got a bunch of tabs on this worksheet. Can you tell me the names of the tabs throughout my worksheet? And what you can do, Alt F11 will bring this menu up. And what we're going to do is we're going to loop through this worksheet. And I'm just going to hit return a couple of times, bring this up to the top of the screen. What we're going to do is we're going to assign a variable called W. For those of you who are used to programming in other languages or hardcore programming guys or whatever, you can certainly set these, you can declare or dimension these variables before you start. You can say, hey, W is going to be a number or an integer, or this A is going to be a string or whatever. Excel's smart enough to deal with what we're doing here without defining what these variables are, but you certainly can do that in VBA. All that said, what have I got? W is the active workbook worksheets count. So what this active workbook object does is says, all right, what workbook are you in? Now go count the number of worksheets. That's all I'm doing. Is I'm going to loop from 1 to W. I'm going to go figure out how many worksheets I have in my workbook. That's what W is. And my I variable is my counter. So I is just going to keep track. 1 to W, next I. It's just going to loop through here. And then A is my variable that keeps track of the workbook or the worksheet names I find in my workbook. So what do? We say A equals A. So what I've already got in A so far. So the first time I loop through, A is not going to be anything. So we're just going to start to build. But the second time I loop through, A is going to take what I already have in A and then add some more to it. So we're going to take what I already have in A, and then I'm going to take the name of the workbook I'm in and the worksheet name. That's what this will do. And notice how the I here corresponds to the I here. So we're going to go to the first worksheet, then we're going to go to the second worksheet, and the third worksheet as we loop through, because W knows how many worksheets there are. And then this VBCRLF, what's that? This is Visual Basic Carriage Return Line Feed. And what we're going to do is we're going to have like a line break or a carriage return between every name of the worksheet. And you'll see that when we run it. And then we're going to loop to the next I. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this variable A that stores the names of all the worksheets, and we're going to put that in our message box. The names of the worksheets in this workbook are colon and a space. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have another VB carriage return line feed. So we're going to put, it's like hitting return on the keyboard, and then list the variable A that has the names of the worksheets. So let's run this baby. So if we run it, here's what we get. The names of the worksheets in this workbook are start looping, skip loops. There's start looping and skip loops. And we could, it's going to make me close out of this before I show you, but find in, nested loop, and exit loop early. If I come back over here, there's find end, nested loop, exit loop early. Now you say, Nate, I can see this. I don't need a macro to run this baby. But you can see how helpful and how common it would be to say, hey, there's something in my worksheets, not just rows and columns, but I can go find, let's go find my charts, or let's go find my tabs, or let's go find anything in my data and tell me about it or change it or whatever I need to do. And I can loop through each one of those through the same loop that I've been doing to do this all day long. That's what I wanted to show you about this for next loop, using it in things besides just rows and columns. Stay tuned. I've got more looping tricks. We'll do it in the next Excel video. Thanks for watching.